Hello. I am at the allotment and I just thought that we're coming to the end of May. The last tour I did was at the end of April, so I thought I may as well show you what my allotment is looking like at this moment in time, and maybe you can tell me where you're at with your allotments or your gardens. What have you planted out and what haven't you planted out? I've planted out a lot of the stuff I wanted to plant out. There are a few more bits and pieces I want to sow directly, because I really want to get into direct sowing, because it's less tedious than having to sow in pots and then water them, keep them watered, and then make sure that when they grow you transplant them. It's a lot of hassle. So what I want to try and do is see whether or not I can do some direct sowing, but then with the direct sowing you also have the risk of slugs and snails, but we can give it a go. Anyway, today's not about direct sowing, today's about an allotment tour, so come with me, let me show you what I've got. Okay, as usual, I'm going to start with my potato bed. I really need to get sides in this potato bed because I don't know how much longer I will be able to earth up this potatoes, but I think by this weekend I need to get a board around it so that I can earth it up. These onions in here all went to seed. They were onions I left in the ground last year, but they all seem to have gone to seed, and they were in over winter. So I think it's the same thing as what happened last year, because we had a lot of warm weather and then we went back to cold weather. The onions got confused and thought that it's time for them to go on to their second season and become mummies and daddies. In here I have my flower bed. My flower bed is doing absolutely lovely. Everything is fighting the attacks that it's getting from the slugs. I've put a little bit of wood chip here in order that they can actually help with keeping the slugs down. Let me just pull out these weeds, because you don't want weeds in the places you're trying to grow your flowers. Because what I did with this is, when I dug this up, I actually just appended the weeds, and what I've noticed is when you just append them, some of them come back. This is Gabera flowers. They're still 3, but they're not doing too good. And then here we've got ranunculus, and I can see a creepy buttercup here which needs to come out. We do not want you in there. I have this flower. Oh, one of the gaberas is here. Oh wow, and it's about to flower. Oh wow. Yes, I've got a ranunculus which I put in here. I found someone gave me a link for someone who was selling hundreds of ranunculus on eBay, so I just thought, well, it's worth the risk. This is a red sunflower, and it seems to be a dwarf version, because look how short it is, and already it's going to be flowering. And I've got 3 of them in this bed here. There's one there, and then there are others in the back there. We have my apple tree, and we have some baby apples on it. So we are going to have some apples there. This garlic was in here from last year. Last year it did not grow, and then this year it decided to grow, so I decided to leave it in, because communal planting and having a community of plants is something that I love and I think is fantastic. This onion was left over from last year, and I did it deliberately with the expectation that it would flower. And this is what it's trying to do, because if you look up here, we got a flower which hasn't opened yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it will look like when it flowers. In this bed still, we've also got Swiss chard, which is actually still doing absolutely lovely. So I've left it in, because I think if a plant is still growing, why disturb it? All right, let's move up. In here we have my straw bales. My straw bale garden is doing lovely. In this bale here we have, what do we have here? We have some leeks on the edge and a tomato, and I know it's a blight-proof tomato, but I do not know what make it is. I've also got some beans in here, although they haven't come up yet. So hopefully they will come up and they will survive any slug attacks. I've also got an aubergine in here. Oh, and my peas, which I put in here. I put some peas in there, starting to creep up, which is fantastic. This aubergine was definitely deliberately eaten. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some coffee from a Costa and then ask them for some coffee grounds as well, in order that I can actually sprinkle the top with some coffee to stop the slugs and snails, because at home that is working fantastic to stop anything eating my plants. Here we have red lettuce, which is sweating. Oh, hello red lettuce, why are you feeling so hot and sweaty? And I have some direct sown carrots in there, which are doing lovely. And over here we got some faster onions. I have a courgette which is not doing lovely, but we shall see what happens with it. I think it's not coping with the wetness. And then I've also got some beetroot, which was direct sown. So the beetroot and the carrots were direct sown in here, and they're doing absolutely fantastic. And behind the red lettuce we've got some pak choy, which is also doing fine in the straw bale. Right, let me go to the other side and show you the other side with the straw bale. In this bale we have some giant red mustard, which is going to seed, but I'm not worried about it. I have a potato mystery, because it was a shop bought potato which was actually starting to shoot, so I put it in here to see what we get out of it, and it seems to be doing fine. I've also got some beetroot and pak choy, which is going to seed. But I'm loving my straw bales, and I love how well they're doing. I'm not worried about anything that goes to seed in them, because it's still a plant and it's still growing whichever way it chooses to. Right, let's move this way. Honestly guys, I love my clear paths now, because it means I can walk whichever way I want. I can walk this way, I can walk that way, and it all doesn't matter. So in here, in this bed here, we have some flowers, and I don't even know what type of flowers they are, but I put them on the edge of the beds because like this year is a year I'm actually trying to have a few more flowers at my allotment. I've got Swiss chard, which is most likely going to be going to seed soon, but I haven't actually taken it out because it still gives the place structure. We then have shallots. I think these are zebrun shallots, which went in last year. The bed needs a little bit of a weed, but because I mulch a lot, the weeding won't take me that long to do. As you can see, it's looking absolutely fantastic. The onions are growing very, very well this year. It's brilliant. In this bed, I have put in my non-spreading comfrey, one of which I've actually put outside of the bed in order that the bees can get to it. The others are still tucked inside the net, and the reason I've got the net on is because of my competition onions. These are my AOC Giant Onion Challenge onions, and I just recently mulched them with a bit more manure. I weeded and mulched the whole space in order to make sure that the plants have enough to eat, because I'm worried that they've been sat in there for a while and I haven't been feeding them, and therefore I feel like maybe they needed a little bit more to eat, and that is why I mulched them with manure, because that's a good source of nutrition. I love the way this bed looks. I have a few strawberries that decided to creep out of the bed when I was clearing all the other strawberries in this bed, and they're on the side, so I've left them with a plan being, if I manage to find any strawberries that are alive and looking good, I might eat some, but then I'll also take some for my worms, so that would be a good food source for my worms. In this bed, which is a new pallet collar bed, which I put in just recently because we have actually moved further up. This space used to be full of clutter and rubbish, but now what I've done is I've put in this bed, and in this bed we have tender stem broccoli. I think all of these are tender stem. Yeah, tender stem broccoli and some giant red mustard in the back, just down there. So these plants went in just the weekend. Was it last weekend? And they're doing fine. They were tottling completely limp, almost losing the will to live, because as I said, I don't like watering and the tedious work of looking after seedlings in pots. But these guys seem to be doing absolutely fantastic. And what I'm going to do before I leave today is I'm actually going to put in a row of French beans on the inside, because I know that I set up this bed with my own soil. I don't have any slugs or snails in here, and I feel like it will be the best place for me to start some French beans, because I've been wanting to do French beans, but I haven't actually had the time to do them. and I'm desperate for them because I love my yellow French beans. This is a new bed that I'm just in the process of setting up, and now I'm thinking that maybe I should put some of the French beans in here because this is a square foot bed, and therefore it will make it easy for me to work with. In here, in the top right corner, I've put in my ochre, which I hadn't actually planted yet, and it was shooting. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not it will come up. The bed that is behind it has asparagus, which was given to me by my former allotment neighbor, because now I have a new neighbor who moved at the speed of light. And when I say he moved, he really moved, because everything has been weeded, cleared, rotavated, and planted up. And he gave me some plants as well, which was lovely. But yes, I've got asparagus in here, which the bed needs a little bit of work, but I think it's doing absolutely fine. This space now has had a change, and since my clear up, it's starting to look a little bit closer to what I want it to look like. Ignore the bags of manure because they're needed, and it's been windy, so I don't know where this came from, but it flew into my allotment space. We have another blight-proof tomato, and this one is in one of my self-watering systems, and it seems to be doing absolutely fantastic. And once again, we are starting to get flowers, which are opportunities for tomatoes. Over here we have my sugar snap peas, which were given to me by my new allotment neighbor because he bought too many, and I put them in that pot, and they seem to be doing fine. So that is this end of the allotment. Oh yeah, I've got a potato in there that came from home, some strawberries in there that also came from home, so I don't know whether or not they will actually fruit, because I got rid of them at home because they were not impressing me. In here we have a weed which needs to come out. I love how weeds tend to do better than our plants. But this is a dahlia. This was a dahlia I sowed last year and planted it up, and then I thought it was dead, but then it came back this year. So I'm going to leave it here and see how it does. When it flowers, I'll put it somewhere strategic in order that we can see more of it. And in this bed here, I've got more asparagus given to me by my allotment neighbor, and it's grown really tall and really big. I know that I need to support it, but I am not. I didn't support it last year either, and some of them are on the other side of this massive Swiss chard. I mean, this Swiss chard is huge. It's humongous, but it looks fine there, so I don't disturb it. I leave it to grow. Okay, let's have a look at what's here now. We've done this bed here, which is my new square foot bed, but to its just over here is my old square foot bed, which is doing absolutely fantastic. These lavender are waiting for my raised bed, which is going to be in front of the shed in order that they can go in there. But in here we've got flowers, we've got potatoes. We've got two types of potatoes. We've got secondaries, and then I had spare main crop potatoes which came and were put in here as well. We've also got garlic, which is in with oh my god, I've forgotten. Oh, peony. This peony was almost on its last legs in terms of my judgment of it. It was due to be taken out this year, and then suddenly, guess what happened? It heard me having a conversation with myself about the fact that I was going to be taking it out. And so now it's going to flower, and we have a lot of buds. So I'm pleased to say that it will be staying. I don't know what color. It looks like it's going to be a light pink, which will be different to the ones I see, because I see a lot of red ones, but I've never really seen a light pink one. I've given it a little bit of support because it was splaying everywhere, and it was oh, sorry, I didn't see you, and I didn't see you. Garlic scapes. So you see, this is what I wasn't able to see because of the fact that the peony was getting in my way. But now that it's not, I could see that. So I got two garlic scapes to go home with me. And in here we've got our kestrel potatoes, which should be ready soon because of the fact that they're secondaries. So, and they look like they're getting on. They've been in here for quite a while, and they're doing absolutely fantastic. I love this bed. I always mulch it with wood chip, and the wood chip turns to soil, so I'm never struggling for compost for it. Next to it we have garlic, more garlic. I've forgotten the name of this garlic. I'll have to look it up and see what it's called, but I planted it last year in November, which is when I normally put all my garlic in, and it's doing absolutely lovely. It will be ready soon. I think by the end of June we'll be pulling it, but for now it's still doing absolutely fine. It's got enough leaves to keep growing, and therefore I'm not disturbing it for now. Next to it we've got another asparagus bed, which I also put some flowers in along the row. Guys, this year I've gone crazy with flowers. I'm putting flowers wherever I can think of, and I've still got flowers to go out. The simple reason being, I found last year that the few flowers I had gave me a lot of joy, and therefore I've put flowers in a lot of spaces, and I am loving it. But the asparagus is on its second year, and so probably I'll give it another year after this, and I'll mulch it very beautifully with manure at the end of the growing season. And then the year after next is when I'll start my harvesting of it. We've done the straw bed, so let's walk back down. I've just been sat there, which is why that stool is there, but it's fantastic to be able to walk around without a problem. And we're going to start looking at the right side of the plot to see what we've got. And we're going to start here with our sensu onions. I had a couple which tried to go to seed, and I just took off the flowers because that's what I do, and they seem to be doing fine. I haven't seen any more trying to go to seed, and we've had a lot of rain, so I'm not even worried about watering them because these guys are doing absolutely fantastic. In our next bed here I have faster onions, which are doing lovely, and they seem to be putting on some growth now, where before they were quite stagnant. And the recent rain, it shows me how much watering I really needed to be doing, because after the last rain we had about 2 hours of rain, and suddenly the onions are standing upright and looking like they were ready to grow. In here is some sugar snap peas, and I think I can now open them up, which I will do after I'm done. In fact, let me do this and then you can see them nicely. Okay, that is so much better. It actually looks pretty. This is the first time I'm seeing how well these sugar snap peas are doing. I've left the bottom net off so that the plants can actually just go up. And I need to open you guys up a little bit so you can stop trying to grab onto here and go that way. So they're doing fine. I've actually loved sugar snap peas, so I'm looking forward to seeing how well they do. I will need to put extra string to take them all the way up, because the other ones on the other side, which you will see in a minute, are growing a lot taller than these are at this moment in time. I left this in. It was supposed to be a cauliflower, with the expectation is I'll be able to get the seed and get my own cauliflower, because the cauliflower I grew at home I forgot about, and then ended up losing it because it went beyond edible. Right, in here we have shallots, which are doing fine, and I'm bending down because I've just seen a weed. Stella does this all the time. Whenever I'm looking at everything that I'm growing, I'm always also checking the weeds to see what weeds I have. Let me check this, because this looks like a weed, but it's an onion, so I'll leave it. And I can see a small bindweed about to wrap itself around my onions, so that needs to come out as well. So in here we've got some leeks, which are just going to seed. And I saw Nick the gardener's video in which he had leeks that were self-seeded, and I thought, oh, I like the idea of that, not having to sow any seeds and then having the leeks come up all by themselves would be fantastic. So I thought, why not? So that is what I'm doing. I'm leaving these leeks to go to seed, and then I'll harvest them when they are ready. In fact, I won't harvest them, I'll just let them self-seed, and then those seeds will hopefully germinate and give me leeks for next year. On the second layer up in this circular bed that you're looking at is my other Else onions. And they're doing fine, guys. I was so worried about these onions. I thought that I would not get anything, and I can see a weed next to my onion. I love the way how weeds try to sit next to your vegetables in order to thinking that you won't pull them out. But these guys are sturdy. They're strong and they're growing beautifully well. I am happy with how they look. And I've seen another weed, as you do, just here, next to another of the Ailsa onions. Oh, and I've seen another weed. Guys, can you speak to the weeds and tell them to stop bugging me? Yeah? Don't go near my onions. And once again, we've got red lettuce, which is interspersed in between the onions because I had nowhere to put it. This lettuce was supposed to be expired and was supposed to not be able to grow, but it seems to have done really, really well. So on the layer up from that, I've got the garlic that was given to me by Bethan from Bethan's garden, and it's doing absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, the Swiss chard was in its way and affecting its ability to access light, and so I pulled out the Swiss chard, and then we had a windy day, which is why, as you can see, it's all leaning to one side, but it's still doing fine. It's still doing absolutely fine. So all the way around, we've got all these shallots at the bottom at the bottom layer, and then we've got our Ailsa, we've got our garlic, and then we've got more garlic and a bit of Swiss chard which was left over because I gave some away. This bed is looking absolutely fantastic and I love it. I hope you do too, because this is my favorite bed in the whole allotment, and I'm planning to change out my edges with something that is more durable, but for now it's doing fine. We move up to here, and I'm thinking that we'll go here and then we'll actually go that way. So in here I put in my maize. This is corn, not sweet corn but actual corn, and I decided to put it in here to give it another go at growing, because last year, just when it had started flowering, we had winter and that was it. I lost out on it, which was a disappointment because I wanted to try and grow some here. So I'm going to give it another go this year. And this is a giant mustard which I've left to flower in order that I can get some seeds from it. And I don't know why it's leaning into my net, my almost non-existent net, which I love because I get to look on the inside. And in here we have, let me have a look and see if I can read the label. Yes, so we've got Long Island Brussels sprouts on this side here, and then on this side we've got cauliflower igloo, and they're doing fine. And I believe that we've got one tender stem broccoli in the back there, and that's doing fine as well. And in the middle I've got the in-bed composting in place, even if I haven't fully set it up yet, but everything is doing lovely in here. The plants are growing well. I'm loving these beds a lot, and I'm happy with the net and how easy it makes it for me to see what I need to see when I'm looking in. I'm going to put that there so that it's not leaning on that net so much, because then it might pull it down, because it's not that secure. I haven't secured it too hard. It's just a gentle secure. All right, let's move on to these beds here. In here I have shallots which are doing fine, other than a few weeds. It's always an opportunity for weeding, this is. So I just lie them flat in the other bed where they don't actually cause a problem. I've also got some chives in here which I'm really happy survived my change of the space, because the chives were doing fine in here, but then when I actually put in this new pallet collar and filled it, I was so worried that the chives wouldn't survive, and so it was a pleasant surprise to find them growing absolutely fantastic within this bed and looking happy as ever. So yeah, I'm happy with this bed, and I'm hoping that I'll get a good result from the shallots, because I try to make sure that I space them according to the square foot gardening system of how widely spaced they should be, and they are really starting to split now. So my worry that I won't have enough onions actually was not warranted. So let's go right to here. In here we have my meteor peas, which were dying for a long time, but now look like they're starting to put on what they need in terms of growth, and we're going to be having peas from them. And behind them we have our sugar snap peas, which haven't flowered. Oh, they are starting to flower right up at the top. They're starting to flower, So they're doing absolutely fine. And in this same bed, we've also got some shallots along a row of shallots there, because I have so many shallots and I had nowhere to put them. So I needed to find somewhere to put them. And then we go up, and on the left is a bed that, oh my gosh, guys, look at all that Swiss chard that needs to be transplanted elsewhere. That's something I'll have to do this Saturday. I think that's going to be my target for Saturday, is to transplant the Swiss chard that's in here and get it out of here, because I've also got a lot of red lettuce. I don't even know if you can see it well because of the net. I need to change this net for one of those clear ones. But I've got a lot of Swiss chard, guys, a lot. And some fennel and a kale, which is doing absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at that. That you can see very, very clearly. But the Swiss chard is taking over, and I can see some bindweed in there. So we will need to get in there and do a little bit of a weed and a clear out. And then in this bed here, we've got the same issue. We have a lot of Swiss chard, and my pak choy unfortunately is going to seed, so it will come out. And I've also got some cabbages in here. Hold on, sorry. Oh, yes. I got a cabbage, a pixie cabbage, which came from Ali, Ara's garden. And then I've also got tender stem broccoli here. So I've got a lot of broccolis and a lot of cabbages in the beds, and they're all doing absolutely lovely. The pak choy is not doing so great, but I've also got some Welsh onions in there, in addition to more self-seeded Swiss chard. Oh, look who came. So this man turned up just to say bye because he's going for a walk. Hey. See ya. Anyway, where was I? Now he's distracted me. Yes, we were talking about the fact that we have a lot of Swiss chard all over. As you can see, there's a lot of Swiss chard in here. And then the pak choy had flea beetle in it, so the leaves were all bitten up. But it creates a bed cover, so I'm not worried about it. Over here, we have my blight-proof tomatoes, which really do need some support, especially this one here. But I haven't supported them yet, but I will get to it. I've also got my in-bed composting all set up, and it's doing fine. Oh, something is trying to grow in there. What is this? Looks like a potato. But anyway, let's pull these out, because that's bindweed. I don't want any bindweed trying to grow in my space. So I just tend to go deeper and pull it up as deep as I can go. And then we've also got some radishes, which are more than likely ready. Yeah. Do you know, I put these radishes in simply because I had nothing I could do with them, because of the fact that, as you know, radishes grow really fast. And check this out. I think I need to take some lettuce at this rate, in order that we can have some lettuce with some radishes. I've also got some beetroot, but the beetroot didn't take so well because it was very old seed. I've got another bit of bindweed here, which I'm pulling out in order that it doesn't disturb me. And a bit more bindweed here, and a bit more bindweed here, trying to come out, but I just take it out. Oh wow, let's put these guys here. So yeah, so the radishes look like they're ready for harvest. Let me take this one as well. It looks very big. I wonder if it's big, or is it not? Because this was radish tape. Oh, there's another one. Look at this. Yeah, I think those are enough radishes for today. And I'll definitely go in and get some of the red lettuce now that I've actually got radishes to eat with them. Okay, we move on, now that Stella's been distracted enough, to this bed here. In this bed, I have a few foster onions, which once again seem to be doing a lot better now that the rain gave us a lot more water than Stella has been watering. I don't water as much as the rain did, so that's a lesson for me. And as usual, Stella is always trying to pull out. This is what I always do as I go around looking at my plants, is I try and pull out as much of the weeds as I can in order that it's not overwhelming. I can see that my beetroot over here is being eaten. I don't know what is eating it, but the beetroot here is doing absolutely fine. Both were sown at the same time, and next to it, that's another Swiss chard, self-seeded Swiss chard. So I have a lot of that all over the place. This is one of my Savoy leaf. Savoy cabbages, not Savoy leaf. Yeah, Savoy leaf cabbage. And it's flowered. I left it deliberately in order that I can get some seeds from it. And I'm hoping that it will self-seed as well. And then I'll be able to just get some of it and plant them out, because I did really well with the cabbages last year, even if I didn't harvest as many. In this bed, we've also got the other blight-proof tomatoes. I did 3 types of blight-proof tomatoes. I did a new one that I've never done before called Nagina. And then I did one I did last year, which is, I think is, oh God, I can't remember the name, but I'll put it up on screen when I'm editing this video, because I can't remember the name at all. And then I did Rose Crush as well. So I did 3 types of blight-proof tomatoes. 2 I did last year and loved, and then 1 extra one to try out for this year to see whether or not it will do as well as the other 2 did. But yeah, so that is what is growing in my allotment at the moment. And this is what my space looks like. I've still got this space to sort out, as you can see, but we will get there. This is one of my drowning beans, which I want to move to the back in order that it is not in the way. But it's also used by the critters that come in to actually drink the water. I make sure that I don't overfill it, in order that something falls in, it's got somewhere to climb out. But the plan is to move it from there to elsewhere. Down here, I've started bringing, oh my God, is one of my sunflowers which needs to go in a bed because it looks like it's about to flower. But I've actually got a few plants here because I brought this shelf down in order that I have somewhere to put seedlings. And this is one of my Nagina plants, which was basically sulking and had broken totally and completely, and all I had was a stem. So it's in there because it needs to grow a little bit more, and I think I'm actually going to put it into a hydroponic system here at the allotment, and I'm sure it will do absolutely fantastic. Okay, I think that is a summary of what is growing in my allotment. I have a lot, and there's a time I felt overwhelmed by how much I had. But part of the overwhelm was to do with the clutter. So where I'm standing now, there's quite a bit of clutter still. But the fact that all the spaces are clear elsewhere mean that I feel so much better about the space. I can get around easily without a problem. I can get to where I need to, and I can do my weeding. Now that my paths are clear, I can just go around doing a bed at a time. And ultimately, I'll have a much better looking allotment space. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do comment below. Let me know what your gardens are doing, how they're doing. And at some point, probably by the end of the month, I will make sure that I actually show you how my tomatoes, which I put in early at home, are doing. But for today, have a good one. I almost forgot to show you my little sweet pea frame with a sunflower in it. I set this up here on a self-watering system, and for now it doesn't seem as, the peas don't seem as happy as they were when they were in pots, but then I had left them in pots for a long time. But what gives me hope and makes me feel like they'll do fine is the fact that if you look here, they seem to be doing okay there. I'll probably give them a feed of nitrogen in order that they can actually start to do a little bit better. But they're doing fine, and I'm happy. Guys, I've just realized I had not shown you my garlic. My other garlic, which I planted in this bed when it was a very long bed in November sometime, because I had a lot of excess garlic. But this garlic is doing absolutely fantastic. It's got very nice, strong stems, which suggests that down below we're going to get lovely, fantastic bulbs. I need to get to that weed over there, but that's not what I'm here for. We got more garlic in here. I put some of my Ailsa onions in here because I had nowhere else to put them, so they went in there. And then along here we have more garlic, and next to it we got more onions, and I don't even remember what type of onions these are, but they're doing fine. And just here, waiting for setup and planting, is my bean bed. And really and truly I should have done this today because the beans at home are ready to come in, and I need to set up this bean bed for planting to make sure that we get our beans for this year. And I've just seen this there. That's what happens to weeds. All right, guys, I'm going home now. Do you know what? I forgot to show you this bed as well. Oh my God, Stella, you got too many beds. Let me go around and show you this. So in this bed here, I've got, I think this is another cabbage, pixie cabbage, 2 pixie cabbages, tender stem broccoli, and it looks like the bed is small. Pixie cabbage is supposed to take up just a square foot, but these leaves are humongous. They're very, very big, which is a surprise to me because I'm wondering why they're so big. Let me see if you can see them any better from this side, because they're taking up more than a square foot. So the tender stem broccoli has decided to actually grow a bit taller before it starts to spread itself, because it's thinking I haven't got enough space with these guys next to me. I'm being bullied by the cabbages, but hopefully the pixie cabbages will grow quickly and we'll be harvesting them, which will then mean that the tender stem will then have space to grow without someone bullying it. Okay, guys, that is really it now. I am done, and it is time for me to go home and get myself some lunch. I've done well, I think. I feel calm. I don't feel overwhelmed now. I feel like everything is looking nice, and I feel like I can manage the space I have. Okay, have a good one.